Good afternoon, everybody. It's a dog with you. We're in the kennel. It's time for another edition of Weber This Week. It's the 22nd of May, 2017. Hey, better late than never. My good friend and sponsor of this show, longtime friend, and along with his wife, Leslie, Bob Ohman is in the house. John Mayat will appear sometime down the road, but he couldn't make it today. But we have the man, one of the owners of the Newark Pilots, and of course he's involved with the Geneva operation as well. And we welcome you to our program on a Monday afternoon. Good to have you alongside. Hope you enjoyed a little bit of rain over the weekend. It was kind of off and on. We're understanding the weather for the Memorial Day weekend is iffy. You know, sometime it might rain, sometime it might be sunny, but they're talking like mid-70s, so we all hope you are psyched up for Memorial Day weekend. It's hard to believe. Without further ado, it's good to bring my good friend Bob Ohman in. Bob, thanks for coming in, buddy.
Thank you.
Bob, of course, sort of like a walking legend. We've talked for many, many times on this program. In knowing Bob and what he has done for my hometown, Lyons, New York, and what he's done for a lot of the operations over in Wayne County. Certainly the Ohman Theater is a legendary theater, and of course he's made so many sacrifices with his resources to help out schools and community centers, and we could go on and on. But today we're going to talk about baseball, specifically the Newark and the Geneva franchises. And Bob, let's see, the season begins, you said, June 1st.
June 1st, opening game is in Newark. Game time is at 7 o'clock, and we've got a lot of new types of things going on in Newark. We've got a special center field. If somebody hits a home run into a kangaroo in the outfield, they win $1,000.
Wow! Which
then you'll have a drawing for the fan in the ballpark.
Great.
We've got a really good program coming with Wegmans in Geneva and Newark. Where a fan every game wins a gift prize from Wegmans.
Very nice.
We've got a lot of miscellaneous things that we're giving away, but I think our biggest thing that we've got is we've hired 2 Hall of Fame coaches for Newark and Geneva.
Talk a little bit about both of them.
Well, in Newark, we've hired John Mayat, and John Mayat is a nationally known coach who has, I think he was, not he said, but over 46 guys in the major leagues. And in Geneva, we hired Dan Schwam, who's in the Hall of Fame. He won the most games ever in college baseball.
Wow.
And, it's really interesting with the 2 experienced coaches. It makes your life a little bit easier, and then that gives us the opportunity to look to the future and where that'll take Newark and Geneva, whether we step up into a different era in baseball.
Right. And, as I've always said on this show, I've experienced going out to see Bob and Leslie and the great people out there, his team of staff and the interns that work for Bob during the summer. It's a night like you won't ever forget. It's great. It's really a great sight to have it. He keeps the field manicured 100%. His team is always joyful and cheerful, and they greet you. And I love your mascot in Newark. I love that guy or girl. But it's just fun to be there. And, of course, Bob and me and Mary and Sandy and Jean have come out there several times. And we like the food, too. The food is great. And that's the experience.
I got to tell you, we got a new mascot for Geneva.
Oh, boy.
And it's a wolf. And it's not after the Wolfpack at NC State, I can tell you that, because they would sue me if they heard that, because they sued Cuga College. But we're going to have fun with that this year. And, that's the different types of stuff, like how we're trying to improve the ballpark. I don't know if you knew this or not. We have a $50,000 grant for the Newark ballpark that's going to do some improvements. We're going to put new backstops in, some new restrooms, and just some general, basic upgrades. And then we also have money that the Senator Zolio at the time gave us for Geneva, which is also going to do more improvements in Geneva, which is really going to make both ballparks a step up from what they are. And I really think we had the Junior College World Regional Championship there this past weekend, and they were absolutely impressed with the Newark ballpark, the fields, and the facilities. So as we go on, this has been a process, but we keep getting hopefully better and better.
Well, let's talk about your division specifically. Tell us the teams in your division and how you shape them all, how you analyze each one of them.
Well, in our division, we have, of course, our biggest nemesis is Elmira.
Right.
And Elmira is a bunch of characters over there. They do a really great job. They draw a lot of people. But for some reason, over the last 7 years, they seem to be our rival. And, of course, I imagine it'll happen in Geneva because, believe it or not, the coach in Geneva coached in Elmira at one time. And it's like anytime they come to the Newark ballpark, it's a fight.
Game on.
It's like a Lions Newark or a Lions Clyde Savannah game.
Oh yeah.
I
had a chance to call.
Or
on
even
those.
Seneca Falls Waterloo, because in my day that was a big game.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And I think that'll bring a lot of the rival back. The owners are characters, and in those. Well, of course, the one in Geneva is not a character because that's me.
That's right. That's right.
But the ones in Elmira are. We also have a new team in Syracuse that just came into the league. It came over from the NYCBL. We also have a team in Jamestown, the Jammers, which they play in the old Jamestown Single A ballpark. We also have Adirondack, which is in Boonville. And then, of course, we have that team up there in Amsterdam, who everybody likes to hate because they win all the time.
Yeah, they do.
And then, of course, there's Glens Falls, Saugerties, Albany, and so on. So we play a pretty stretching schedule every year. We seem to be on the bus an awful lot.
I know.
But we enjoy it because, you loved going to these big old ballparks. And to give you an idea about Onondaga plays in the Onondaga College, and they've got a beautiful place to play. So as we step forward into the future, I think everything does get better. I also think, just kind of give everybody an idea, this type of baseball is basically, I can't say it's totally equivalent to single A, but it's pretty darn close to it.
Wow.
And the reason I say that is, we've got all the Division I kids coming in from all these big schools and small schools, but they're trying to punch their ticket just like they are in single A. And one thing you'll find is some of our kids are older than the kids in the single A, like in Auburn, et cetera.
That's good. Now, you looked at your roster so far. You have an idea who's coming and any surprises?
Now, we've got a really good catcher coming from Virginia.
Okay.
We've got a bunch of kids coming from the West Coast, and the same goes with Geneva. We haven't got as many kids from around here this year. Having the older coaches, they can scour the different parts of the country, which has basically brought in people from all over. Each squad has 35 guys. Our biggest always need is pitching.
Right.
And I think last year in Newark, we were lacking in the pitching depth. Our hitting was really good. We've got on last year's team 4 potential draft choices, but they're all position players, and that kind of hurt a little bit.
Right.
One thing that we went after for Newark this year was some left-handed hitters. And that wind blows out into right field, and it's 339 feet, and you need that.
Oh, yeah. Well, Bob Ohman's my special guest, a longtime friend and sponsor of this show. He is the owner of not only one, but a couple of franchises. We're talking Newark and, of course, Geneva. Is Mrs. Ohman still going to be the general manager this year, or has she stepped away from that position?
No, she's the general manager.
Wow.
She's calling the shots out of Texas right now. She's visiting our grandkids.
Yep.
And she told me to behave on your show.
Oh, really? Thanks for that. Leslie, if you're checking us out, you never worry about Bob. He does what he's going to do. Well, Bob Ohman's my guest. We're going to take a break and play our sponsor role, and Bob's one of our great sponsors, plugging the Newark Pilots, and we'll be back after this. Acting as a gateway to the Finger Lakes, Del Lago leverages the natural beauty and unique offerings while enhancing tourism in the region. The casino features 2,000 slot machines, 89 gaming tables, including 12 poker tables, portico by Fabio Viviani, a 2,400-person entertainment center, farmers market buffet. The hotel, spa, and banquet facility will open summer 2017. Cayuga Lake National Bank. Visit Bill Ryan and his team for all of your banking needs. Offices in Union Springs and Aurora, a fine sponsor of this show for over 30 years. DA Liquor on Bridge Street in Seneca Falls. Amy Padula and her team will find the right spirit for you every time. When you stop in, tell Amy the dog sent you. The Gould Hotel welcomes you to come out and enjoy the revitalization of this historic downtown Seneca Falls landmark. Every Wednesday is Ladies' Night with special price drinks and half-priced appetizers. Learn more at thegouldhotel.com. The Ohman Theater on William Street in Lyons. See what's playing this week at omantheater.com.
Located off New York State Thruway Exit 41, the McGee Diner has earned their reputation as a popular family restaurant, serving country fresh home-cooked meals daily. Stop in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and check out their menu at McGeeDiner.com. Seneca Metals is an award-winning company that has earned a reputation of going above and beyond to protect the environment and support their community. As an EPA inspector once said, their operation is head and shoulders above the rest. And the Newark Pilots of the Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League, a minor league team with a major league ballpark. Season ticket packages available at NewarkPilots.com. And the Wilson Press in Seneca Falls. My good pal Rich Rickey and his team can handle all of your printing and mailing needs. Visit them online at wpress.com.
Live, laugh, and eat well. It's the Italian way. It's also the Cicino's way. Cicino's is now offering online web ordering. Fast, easy, reliable, and secure. Place your order today at Cicinos.com.
Welcome back, everybody. It's a dog with you on a Monday. Next week, don't look for us. We'll be sharing Memorial Day with our friends and family. We'll be enjoying a picnic, I trust, somewhere, hopefully not inside. So we won't be here next Monday. It's a holiday. I'll just give you an idea of upcoming guests on the 5th of June. We kick it off with the talented Cindy Lorenzetti. She's going to be in to talk about politics, and boy, there's a lot to talk about. We've invited her cohort, Steve Churchill, to join her. We'll let you know on that, but Cindy has confirmed she will be here on June the 5th. A lot going on with politics, fighting the Indians, the IDA. There's a million issues that Cindy's going to talk on for about 30 minutes. Then on the 12th, speaking of Del Lago, the hotel is about ready to open. They're taking reservations online right now for the hotel at Del Lago. As you know, I work part-time out there in the marketing group, and it's supposed to be open, I think, mid-July-ish. I don't know. They haven't exactly set a ribbon-cutting ceremony for that. But you can make a reservation at the hotel right now online, and it's going to be 205 rooms, certainly bigger rooms for the high rollers, et cetera, et cetera. It's going to have a restaurant called the Social. It's going to have a nice tavern in there, some coffee, hot spots,
Spa.
17 spa rooms too, 17 of those. I'm sure Bob will try to spa at the Del Lago. There's no problem with that. That'll be on the 12th. Jeff Babinski and Chris Polito will be in. Chris is the Vice President of Hospitality overseeing the hotel and the casino. Jeff, of course, is Executive Vice President. He's been on the show several times. They will be here on the 12th of June. The 19th, we're going to hear about the Boston Marathon. Katie McIntyre returns to give us a play-by-play of her first experience ever as a runner in the Boston Marathon. And then, of course, on the 26th, the company needs really no introduction. We're talking about Seneca Metals. Their two big guns, Kyle Black, the general manager, and Mr. Mark Benjamin will be here on the 26th of June. By the way, speaking of the likes of Seneca Metal, they always have some workshops, and I got one to pass on to you today. Speaking of spas, they have a spa workshop out at Seneca Metals. Get your good old feet looking great for summer the natural way in this hands-on workshop. Our pedicures will leave you with softer, smoother feet without harsh spa chemicals. To register, you've got to call 315-539-5624. That's going to be held at Seneca Metals Education Center, 1977 State Route 414 in Seneca Falls. It's coming up this Wednesday, the 24th of May, 6:30 to 7:30 in the evening. It's $6 a person, pretty cheap. And, of course, it's a family affair. So we hope that you take part in that, put on by Seneca Metals. We're back with my friend Bob Ohman, and Jimmy Senecropi had a couple of things to pose on Mr. Ohman. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Well, I was just wanted to talk about as seeing how the Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League kind of operates, and year to year the rosters turn over. You track these college kids from across the nation, and there's some competition with other collegiate leagues for these players as well. But the PCGBL always seems to get some great players, and a lot of the same franchises are always competing across the top. Now, do you think this year with your new managers, your new coaching staff, that's an advantage as these kids look to get better coaching in the summer?
You know, I do, and I think one of the other things that happens is they have more contacts. You know, there's hundreds of colleges across the country, and there are some colleges that are just better than other colleges.
Yep.
They put together a better program. One of the big things that I've seen recently is the junior colleges. The junior colleges are give an opportunity for an individual to hone his skills and get drafted. Because one thing that's happening, if a player goes 4 years, he's probably too old for the major leagues.
Yeah.
And so you can draft out of the junior college on the second year where you can't in the 4-year schools. Because
they have a Major League Baseball has a rule where you play one, or if you either go pro after the first year or you stay for
that's correct
3 or 4 years. Yeah.
Yep, something like that. And that's why the junior college circuit seems to be really good. We had
How do you think that rule would work if it was applied to like the NBA? Obviously, in college basketball, that's a more high-profile type of deal. But baseball has this rule, and it's been in place.
I think there's a reason for that, and this may be right or wrong. Is it eliminates having to have a lot of minor league teams?
Yeah,
because colleges are minor leagues. Their ballparks are A+. If you look at the SEC, the ACC, beautiful. The Pac-12. Yeah. I mean, they are as nice as the Rochester Red Wings ballpark, and if not nicer. And I think that's what's happened. Major League Baseball used to have, like Seneca Falls used to have a pro team in the 1800s. In the early, I think Lions had a team. Palmyra, believe it or not, had a team. Yeah. And
Geneva Cubs
in the Geneva team. And what happened back then? They were Class D. And they had A, B, C, and D, I guess, in baseball. Well, they've eliminated a lot of that. And if you notice, the NYP League had a lot more cities at one time in the single A. Yeah. One thing I have noticed is they've expanded into the Carolinas because they can play from April on. But,
that's tough. Talking to Bob Ohman, the owner of a couple of franchises, and, of course, Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League getting ready to kick off June the 1st. My God, that's a week and a half away. It's pretty scary.
Yep.
And, of course, we keep hammering away, and I keep hammering away because it's not because he's a sponsor and because him and Leslie are good friends of myself and Mary. It's the fact that I make quick analysis of when I go somewhere to watch a sporting event. And the first time I went into his ballpark, I didn't know Bob from that wall over there, but I was impressed with the signage. It was perfect. There was nothing tarnished or torn, and he did things right, and he always does things right. And that's the first thing that caught my eye, no pun indicated, the fact that you always have, and your team have always presented yourself in a classy manner, and you've put on a beautiful field. It's always manicured to the top notch. You got a good PA system where you got a good thing working there, and the food is awesome, obviously, and it's just something that I think our viewers should really, if you've never been to Coburn Park, and not for that matter, McDonough Park in Geneva is trying their best, and I went a couple games last year, but nothing against Geneva, but I still kind of lean my way to Newark, and I don't mind making the trek over, and it's not that long of a drive, 21 miles, something like that, yep. But it's an experience. And Jimmy, of course, we used to broadcast some of the games a few years ago, and it was just a good experience to be there.
Summertime, it's
summertime. You got a cold beer and a sausage. I mean, how do you beat that? You hear Leslie going crazy over a call. I mean, it's priceless. And she gets all worked up, and that means she's into it, which is good.
I had to laugh. The Hudson Valley bus driver got kicked out of the game the other night, and the umpire wouldn't let the game go on until he got his head out of the top of the lookout on the top of the bus.
Funny. That's funny.
Yeah, I remember calling a game over there and seeing one of your managers get tossed. Yeah. He took the third base out.
I remember that.
Yeah, that was pretty. You never know what you're going to see, but you look at these kids that play in the Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League, and then you look at some of the guys that are in the Single A Auburn franchise for the Astros farm system, right? Isn't it the Astros? Yeah. The Double Days, Auburn Double Days.
Auburn Doubles.
You have more of a chance to see a major leaguer if you go to watch a Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League than you do a Single A Auburn game.
You're absolutely right. And one of the places I think our hitting is better. I think they may be a little bit better in the pitching because they're drafting the top pitchers and they're paying them a bunch of money to go.
Right.
And that's the biggest thing. That's always what we're looking for, is that guy that can throw, up around 90 miles an hour. And, finding those guys is hard because after they come through their college baseball season, they're usually are shut down because they're worn out or whatever.
Right.
But we've got a couple kids. I think two of our better players this year are coming out of Niagara.
Really?
Battaglia and a pitcher by the name of Brash. They've got Battaglia's hit the heck out of the ball up there, and you wouldn't. I'm seeing more and more Northeastern players in the pros. I don't know if you've noticed that.
Yeah.
You know,
Pretty amazing. Well, certainly. As you analyze getting your John Mayat, who's going to join Bob today, but he'll be back on our show. Maybe we get him here as soon as we can.
Got caught in traffic, which is kind of crazy around here, but it happens.
Yeah.
And Bob's going to set up a couple of people to come in, and maybe we'll get them in early July, because right now we are booked through the month of June. But, Bob, as you look at material, I know you're fighting for material with other teams. They're trying to get the same kids or some of the kids. Mm-hmm. When do you start that process? You started like months ahead of time?
Well, we started in August.
Wow. Amazing.
We were out looking pretty hard at that time. We signed probably 50% of our guys by the end of October.
Really?
Yep.
That's impressive.
That's the big thing. It's as soon as the season's over, you're off and running for the next season.
Now, I know when these kids come in the town, you put them up. Obviously, they have a place to stay. But are there like neighborhood families that take some of the kids into? Or has that been lessened?
We have very few host families.
Okay.
And we have maybe one or two in Geneva, and that's what we really need. We keep the kids in Geneva at Hobart College. The kids in Newark stay at the Catholic Church in Lyons, where they have a big old rectory, and the Presbyterian Church in Lyons, since that's only about 4.5 miles from the ballpark,
right? Which
makes it convenient. That's what we're always looking for, is that host family, because it would save us some money,
sure,
and it would help us put more into the ballpark, and that is probably that's probably the most expensive thing that we have going. Where a lot of other teams don't have that.
Okay.
And
why is that?
They have host families in their towns,
okay.
And I don't know whether it's the economic level of Geneva, and the housing out there.
Right.
And in Newark, it's probably the same thing. You've got a lot of Section 8 housing where, in other places you wouldn't have it.
Right.
And, obviously the government pays for the housing.
Sure.
And so those people aren't going to give up their apartment when they're guaranteed for year-round.
Yeah, I get that. And, certainly if anybody's checking out our show today and has the opportunity or wants to consider bringing in being a host family, get a hold of Bob Ohman. He's easy to get a hold of. Just call me or Jimmy. We can give you his number, and he can talk to you about that opportunity. Certainly, putting these kids up and after a tough game, and you guys do take some great road trips. I was going to do that one night with you. I was going to take one of those trips, get back, and you said sometimes you get back at 2 a.m.
Yeah, when we were going out to Glens Falls.
That's a long trek.
And then go down to Jamestown. Shoot, you're on the road almost half the day.
Yeah. That's one of the things about this league. It has a wide geographic area.
Yeah, it really does.
One of the other cool things that if you're going to follow the pilots and you get out to a couple games, you're going to develop your favorite player like anywhere else. So one of my favorite pilots of all time was Joe Landy. Remember old Joe Landy?
Yep.
I think he played third, but he was he could have 25 pitch at bats. He hardly ever struck out.
That's right.
Clutch player.
Yeah.
Any candidates on this year's team that we should look out for as guys that you might think might be fan favorites?
I think Battaglia out of Niagara. I think the catcher out of Virginia. He replaced Russell Wilson as the quarterback.
Oh, really?
Of his high school team a couple years back.
Wow.
So that was what his first love was, football, and then he hurt his shoulder, and now he's the catcher, and he'll be our catcher this year. I kind of he's the hardest worker. We had him last year. He was one of the returnees. I think we've got a couple kids coming off the West Coast that will be very good, and also Louisiana. It seems that this year Louisiana Tech has given us a bunch of kids.
And I think people should realize, too, they're here for the kids come in and they join you and join your organization and report to John Mayat, who was expected to be today, but we'll get him back with Bob, and he'll bring in the Geneva manager as well. I think people don't realize you have a compressed schedule, and they do a lot of games, and there's not too many off nights, right? So these kids either are practicing or they're traveling or playing.
Another thing, Doug, that's really interesting is the economic impact on the communities.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah.
I don't think anybody really realizes, because, major leagues take advantage of a lot of these towns. And I truly believe, we pay rent.
Yep.
We pay for things where they're given all this stuff by towns like Auburn. I mean, they get money from the city, they get money from this and that, and we're on our own. We have to earn our own money, which is kind of interesting. We were doing an economic impact for Newark, and every day a kid is in town, they're figuring, I think, it's like $85 a day per kid, and you have 35 kids. And then you've got your busing. Then you've got your rent on the ballpark, upkeep, dirt, food.
Payroll.
I mean, you're over millions of dollars, and you don't even realize it.
Yeah. It is pretty amazing.
Well, you got a guy, might go to the ball game, but then might head downtown to Parker's or something like that for dinner after, or for a drink. And so it's a reason to get out in the community on a summer night.
Well, I'll tell you another thing is the tourism. Yeah. I bet you the pilots create more tourism in Newark than anybody else.
I think
The reason being is these kids' parents come from all over the country. Yeah. They come and they go on wine tours. They got to have things to do. Yeah. And I think that's one of the lost things, because I kind of pointed it out to Geneva. I don't think they realized it. It's the impact. They stay in hotels. They just don't come for 2 days.
And guess where they're
5 days.
Yeah, guess where they're going to go now? Del Lago.
They will be at Del Lago.
I was going to say.
Yeah, matter of fact, we the tournament we had this weekend, we had people having to stay in Auburn because they couldn't get a hotel room because Geneva was sold out in Newark.
Hey, by the way, speaking of Del Lago, I want to throw a plug their way. They got they have promotions every day out there. But they're having a red, white, and blue promotion being Memorial Day weekend. If you checking me out right now, it's good to have you alongside. We've had Bob Ohman with us. But the red, white, and blue promotion is pretty easy. You got to get out to the casino, hang out, come around 7, 8 o'clock at night on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday night, one of those nights. They're going to do red, white, and blue, and they're going to give away a 2017 Wrangler Jeep. Ooh. A red one on Friday night. You got to be there to win it. The drawing's at 10 o'clock. Saturday night, guess what? They're going to draw a white Wrangler Jeep. Brand new. If you don't want the Jeeps, they'll give you cash. I think it's 15 or 20 grand. And then at 11 o'clock on those 2 nights, you get $2,000 drawing as well. And then Sunday night, blue Wrangler Jeep. So they're going to give away a Jeep this weekend every night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So you got to be there. It's called the Red, White, and Blue promotion. And I don't know about you, Jimmy. I enjoy going out there and playing some cards once in a while, but I don't know if I can stay up that late for the drawing. 10 o'clock is the drawings, but somebody's going to win it. And some lady over the weekend won 25 grand in cash. So they're always got a promo going. They're really working the promotions, which is what casinos do. And they've done a great job. Well, listen, my friend, we're almost out of time. But we look forward to seeing you soon. And me and Mary and Sandy and Jean will be out to visit you. Okay. And I know where I'll see you because you'll be at the food stand looking for me because that's where I'll be ordering a sausage sandwich. Yep. All right, Bob
Pilots
Ohman.
Baseball is a sign of summer, June 1st. Right. So we're talking about June 1st is what? On what day of the week is that coming up? It's next week, next Thursday. A week from tomorrow.
I can't even imagine how quickly this has come on us.
Pretty much. Well, Bob, thanks a lot for coming in.
Thank you.
Bob Ohman, good friend, owner of the Newark Pilots in Geneva. Good old boy. He's a busy guy. But we thank him for carving out 30 minutes to join the Weber Show. And we'll have him back in July with not only John Mayett, but also the manager at Geneva. So we'll have a good show then. I'm sure Bob can set this up. So speaking for Bob Ohman and our director, owner, producer, Jim Senecrobe, the dog, bidding you farewell. Enjoy, everybody, your Memorial Day weekend.